just showing you here a juniper that I acquired off a gentleman called Robert a few months ago. So it's an Itiogawa planted into a rock. And the rock itself is probably about 30 centimeters across. So as you can see, it's a sizable plant. If you look inside, you can see that the juniper's actually planted inside the rock rather than the roots being over the rock, as it were. So the rock is a vessel for the tree. And overall, the height of the whole thing is about 45 centimeters, so it is quite substantial. Now Robert's obviously took a good amount of time on this, you know. I mean, getting the juniper into the rock is not easy. Chiseling the rock out by itself is difficult enough. You can see that the larger branches coming off the main trunk have all been bound with raffia or something similar, and then have been bent with heavy wire. But overall, the tree doesn't seem to have a great deal of shape or form particularly. I'm trying to work out what to do with it, basically. And for me, coming across this sort of thing, it's always pretty exciting, you know. I think when we manage to get hold of trees, we're never quite sure what you're going to find, but every so often something really interesting and unique comes like this. But there's quite a weight of responsibility on me as well, you know, because there's some great potential there, an unusual find for us. So I'm questioning whether I've got the necessary skills to be able to do something with it, really. It's an absolute challenge, and I'm not at this stage at all sure what I'm going to do. Not at all. I guess the first job is to remove all the wires and all the raffia that you see in here, so I'll crack on and do that first. That took longer than I thought it would. So if we look inside here, look, let's have a look at this little section here. So from the main trunk running up, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 major branches / trunks coming out from this section here, and I do wonder if that's too many. Another thought is that the overall sort of size of it is too large, really, and I'm wondering if we were to reduce the overall size of it down, then we might be able to get some more foliage a little bit closer in. Basically, I don't think the hole inside the rock is going to be big enough to support that kind of level of foliage that you can see on there at the moment. So I'm wondering about reducing some of the lengths of the existing lung branches back some way, particularly this section running down here. Look, it comes off the main trunk here, comes around in a nice attractive sweep to here, and then we've got a number of smaller sub branches here. We've got a drop down to this point here where there's actually 2 coming off there. Can you see that there? Yep, good. And then a really long section that comes all the way down here. Well, for me, that's going to go first. I think it's far too long, so we'll do a few cuts today. It'll be a longer term project, so I'll do some updates as I go, and we'll see what happens. Now, I do think this is where the front's going to be. So let's think about what else we're gonna take off. I'm tempted to take this off here because it's coming straight forwards. It's quite thick, and I think it interferes with this down here. Some thoughts turn into whether this is going to be necessary for the design. So we're going to have a sweep coming down here with multiple branches. These should be nice and wireable to bring over this way. And then I've got this section here that I can use to build the top with. That'll be my plan. There's also another branch just at the back here which might give me some more options, so that's what I'm going to play with. Right, there we go. It's sat back outside just minding its own business for a couple of months now. Just after those branches were removed, there's no point rushing these things, so yeah, leave it for a little while and we'll see what happens. So a couple of months has gone by now, so it's probably acceptable to do a little bit more work on it. We're still trying to give some thought to what we're going to do. I still see the tree being significantly smaller than it is at the moment. Branches coming down this side, so we're going to bring some of these things round to fill this space. That's the plan, I think, in which case we probably don't need this, we probably don't need that. We may keep this and bring that round. I think that's probably part of the plan. So we've got the beginnings of a bottom pad just here, which is nice and straightforward. There's another pad just here. There's a larger section here which at the moment is all just one, so we've taken a number of branches and we've gone 1, 2, 3 and a bit there to make a pad here. But the next question then is, do we keep this one and this one, which we could remove, but there's potential to try and bring this down to fill this space here, and there's potential to that one as well to come down to this side here and fill this space, which is what we'd have to try and do. So we've got some thicker gauge of wire there, so we're just gonna have a go at seeing if we can if we can do this. Got to be honest, if we snap one of these, I'm not overly concerned, because if we can't get them into position, then they're going to have to go anyway. So it's a case of just see what happens, I suppose, on the wire on that. Just wanted to show you the texture of the rock as well, which is quite interesting. Got those couple of heavy wires on now, so we'll just see whether we can bend those branches. I'm a little bit worried we're going to snap them, to be honest. Right, so success with that. It actually went all right. What we did was we put a couple of heavy wires on to get it started, but then we put a tension wire on here, ran it all the way underneath the rock, back out this side, and then we also pulled this side down to sort of complete the loop, as it were. So we've managed to get both of those branches down into a much more sort of drooping position.
We have over exaggerated as bend, knowing that when we take these off it's likely to spring back a bit.
Right. Okay, another few weeks has gone by, so we're thinking it's time now to get this shifted. So just to be clear then, the original plan was to have a layer down here, pad here, but then what we wanted to do was get something in this space here. So the objective then is to get this vet wrapped up, get the wire on, and see if we can fetch this all the way around to here without breaking it. Worth saying that if this does snap, it does give us a problem. Just saying, there's no laughing and joking at the minute for some reason. I don't know why.
We've just gone proper serious. Yeah.
Proper serious.
There's a time for joking and there's a time for being serious.
Yeah.
This is one of them, isn't it?
It is. Right, let's get it done.
So we're gonna go for bend. Well, Adam is anyway. Steady, slowly. It's going.
Well, that seemed to go okay. No cracking, no noise as we were doing it or anything like that. I've got it round to the position that we sort of said we wanted it in, and then we've put another wire just on here just to bring that round to there. So we've got another pad that's been created here. Now thought's turning to just this top little section here and just this little branch here.
So we're going to wire this one in. Just careful not to trap any foliage.
So what about we think about here, do we?
Yeah, drop that down a bit, I reckon.
And then the last thing that we did today was just take, you remember this section that was just up here, right? We've just bent that around that way, leaving that one there and leaving this one here. And then there was a little wispy bit just on here that's gone as well. So I think we've made a reasonable apex from there. Happy enough with that. That leads around there, so we filled that space. Leave it another few months and we'll see what happens.